In the reforms, if there is more autonomy that is provided to education institutions, which is able to use this technology and probably embrace changes in the industry, this change might happen faster.
Madhavan ji, a distinguished education strategist and partner and lead Education and Skill Development KPMG India, whose work has significantly contributed to shaping the future of education and workforce development in the country.
Good evening to everyone. It has been a pleasure to really go through this visioning exercise, as Hemant was putting it in the morning, to bring about stakeholders from the government side, from the industry side, academia side, and reflect upon what a great opportunity that we are going to witness in Madhya Pradesh. Probably what I was just relishing is more, there has been a very open discussion from all stakeholders on what could be some possibilities that can happen in Madhya Pradesh. A lot of conversations went through with artificial intelligence in there. But sometimes I think when we talk about universities, this is about Vixit Bharat. It's about 25 years of what's going to come up. Artificial intelligence is here and now. Probably universities are going to create professionals who are going to think about what's going to come up in the next 25 years. So a little bit of thought happened around critical thinking. How do we really develop human capacities in this space? And looking at Madhya Pradesh with 4 million students who will be in the younger age group, I believe this is a huge opportunity for Madhya Pradesh to look at how to reform with education as a centerpiece. Because morning we were discussing that in the Vixit Bharat story, probably it's a transformation using human resource potential, that's number one. Keeping education at the center and how we produce talent for the future and who will create the future, that's going to be important. The second aspect that was reflected in the morning was technology to be a central piece. So as a part of reflecting this in the evening, I was just thinking about 3 points that I thought will be important. One is, it is more the context. While there is a huge change that is happening, the relevance of universities in this entire context of this transformation seems to be in terms of creating new knowledge. So that was coming quite consistently, and that is important as we look through. The context, what I mean here is more in terms of near to far. So what will really help Madhya Pradesh transform into a new economy which will spur development not just locally in the state, but it is going to spur development of the country. And those requirements need to be central to this transformation. So education probably should be addressing this transformation and starts from Madhya Pradesh rather than starting from outside India. So it is more what is near to Madhya Pradesh, what is contextual to Madhya Pradesh becomes extremely important in terms of all the wealth, all the knowledge, the indigenous systems here. How can they really be brought inside into this entire reforms so that that becomes very contextual? That's one takeaway that I just want to leave. Context is extremely important. So we will not be led by what is immediately happening, but what we are going to create and what we are going to leave behind for years to come. The second point that kept coming on in the various discussions is about how education is a leveler and technology is a leveler. Because education creates equal opportunity for all students, whether they are in the metros, whether they are in probably tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 locations. How are they getting the same opportunities for learning, irrespective of geography, irrespective of language, irrespective of the backgrounds from which they come from? So education is a huge leveler. So it operates in the wide expanse of Madhya Pradesh. We saw that huge ecosystem that has been built in terms of universities, institutions that is available. But the leveler has to happen in the reforms. The second one is, I felt technology was also a leveler. Because if a student has to really travel from the remote village to a good institution, it was becoming very difficult. Can education be taken closer to the student? That can happen. Two, probably the medium of instruction. Many education happens with different languages. Is it possible to really use technology and create opportunities to learn what the learner wants to do is something that can happen in that place. So I saw technology also as a huge leveler, giving opportunities for people coming from different backgrounds, different places, different languages, to learn what they would want to do and express themselves, which will be useful to the society. So these two stood, kind of for me, context stood very differently, experienced in all the conversations. Second, education and technology be a leveler for a huge population, because if 40 lakh students are really going to come in, contribute to this economy, to harness that power, I think there needs to be more opportunities that need to be provided, which the education platform as well as the technology platform can provide that opportunity for the humans to lead. Just to give a case in point here, I thought a couple of examples that I was just thinking. I was just reading about Korea. So 1960, Korea was 20% GER. Probably, not well known post that World War scenario. Today, Korea is studied as an example in terms of transformation. Gross enrollment ratio at 95%. Some of the leading organizations, whether if you see a Samsung or chip makers and others, have come from Korea. Very industrialized in terms of looking at it. Excellent growth in terms of per capita economic growth that has happened in the region. It happened because of 2-3 reasons. One, Korea took education as a central piece of reforms in 1960. If it is something that they want to do, they said that universalizing secondary education and ensuring all their human resources are equipped with the right kind of skills and knowledge that is required, they made it mandatory, or that made it the policy. The second thing that they did is probably adopting technology at the core. Once I am able to get a lot of people in the secondary education, they said, okay, whether it is chips, whether it is mass media communication, whether it is going to be cyber, whether it is technology, they ensured that they are working on the next generation technology and industrial requirement, brought it inside the curriculum. So there was a 10 years, 1960 to 70, it was secondary education fulfillment. Probably 70 to 80, it is more in terms of the future industries. How do I bring that into the curriculum so that everyone in the classroom is able to really get that industrial knowledge that was happening? The third part that they did is a policy which was in practice. They put all this into their policy so that the investments are extremely going into creating that future potential, which transformed Korea. So in 1990s to 2020s, you will see Korea as a probably model country in terms of transforming. So I was just thinking, if we were to take some learnings, it is more like keeping education at the core for the state, extremely important. Already the state is looking at that at the core in terms of looking at it. Leveraging technology and bringing it inside on how it can be used, extremely important to do that. The third is the intent, the policy and the intent to really drive this. If these three are put in, probably in 2 decades, what Korea showed is it can move probably to the other spectrum, from 20% GER to a 90% GER, from probably a lower per capita income GDP to 2 times, 3 times per capita income in terms of growth. Probably the scientific advancements that they have done using their systems is pretty high. So the case in point that I would say is using education, using technology is extremely powerful. Bringing government, bringing industry, bringing human resource potential that Madhya Pradesh is having, if that is deployed in the right direction in the 20 years, probably Madhya Pradesh will turn the story into how it is spearheading India's growth into the future, is something that I could reflect upon. The other thing that I was just thinking is not just to look at Korea. I said that inside, so within India, within Madhya Pradesh, there has been growth in many areas, whether it is the agricultural way of disrupting the supply chain and how the growth is happening in here, or the newer areas where the state is trying to develop in here. Looking at the nearby states, I was just looking at, I come from Tamil Nadu in that space. The same thing has happened in those areas also. Currently, the GER is beyond 50%. probably a little bit more of industrialization has happened. What was also very learning from there is how do autonomous institutions survive more? The more autonomous institutions come into picture and they are able to really bring in new things that can happen into the state, the economy really improves. So I believe there is an opportunity for, while there is a huge infrastructure and ecosystem that is created, in the reforms, if there is more autonomy that is provided to education institutions, which is able to use this technology and probably embrace changes in the industry, this change might happen faster. So I just want to leave with a thought that it was great to have everyone contribute into this vision. Good to see a melting pot of government, industry, coming together along with the educational institutions to say we can work together to make this happen, keep education at the center, technology as the enabler, but most importantly, the human resource and the people of Madhya Pradesh at the central to this transformation. Leaving with this thought, thank you everyone for giving me an opportunity to speak.